here at the World of Wellness. It works on the property of, it's called photobiomodulation. So anybody who wants to research more about laser properties and what it does for the cells, if you type into Google Scholar photobiomodulation, that's where you'll get all the research articles to kind of explain what the laser does. So in a nutshell, what class 4 laser therapy does is it emits photon energy to the cells, and it's vital that the photon energy hits, it's called the cytochrome C receptor in the mitochondria of your cell. So if we go back to biology in 8th grade, your mitochondria, the cell, is the powerhouse of the cell, right? So when the photon energy from the laser enters the cell, reacts with the cytochrome C receptor, it allows for more ATP production. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, which is basically cellular energy. So it increases the energy of your cells, essentially. So what we are doing here is we have a neuropathy symptom in her hands bilaterally. So what we're doing with the lasers, before I started the application of the laser therapy, we actually put some of our CBD product onto her fingertips, because CBD in its nature is an anti-inflammatory and a neuroprotectant. So what we're doing is we're using the photon emission energy from this laser to kind of drive the CBD into the tissue to kind of like wake the nerves up. And since we started with this patient, we have had increase in grip strength. I believe it was 7 and 8 pounds on each hand. And before we started with, it was basically both hands were numb and tingly and you had a little bit of pain in them. Now the left one's completely fine and you just have numbness and tingling in the right fingertips, correct?
No tingling. Just
no tingling.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we're starting to get that nerve to kind of wake up. So when we're lasering this, what we're trying to do is go over a carpal tunnel. So when you kind of have any numbness, tingling, pain, itching sensation in your fingers, basically what happens is that nerve is depolarizing. So that nerve's firing and then you feel the sensation in your hand. What this laser does is this helps to reset the resting membrane potential. So roughly every cell, we could just pick a number. We'll say negative 70 millivolts is the resting membrane potential. When she feels the pain, numbness, tingling, itching, burning sensation in her hands, it's because that nerve is depolarizing. So it is getting closer to 0. So we'll say like negative 25 or negative 20 millivolts. What this laser does is it kind of helps to reset the ion channel closer to that negative 70 and actually make it a more negative, around like negative 80, negative 85, so she doesn't feel the sensation firing down into her fingers here. What the laser also is doing is it helps with like angiogenesis. So it's going to kind of help to create more micro blood vessels, and it allows for an increase of nitric oxide and O2 perfusion across the cell membrane. So her healing capacity goes from anywhere to 50 to 100-fold better than what she would normally heal at. What it also does is it helps with acute pain. So when anybody's in any kind of acute pain, what it's going to do is your pain fibers, it's called a nociceptive, it's the C fiber. So what it does is it actually kind of helps to turn off the C fiber, so that signal to your brain, you're not actually experiencing the pain. So when the laser therapy first came out, one of the first uses, it was actually used for wound healing, especially diabetic ulcers, just because of what it does for the cell. But it also is absolutely massive for any kind of acute pain as well. How'd that sound? How'd that sound? All right? Did I sound all right?
Yeah, I do get a lot of itching.
Itching, yep. So we're just waking that nerve up. Just totally trying to wake that nerve up. So we went from numbness and tingling to itchy because we are starting to stimulate and close down the calcium ion channel on that nerve. So the 3 channels on the nerve, you have the calcium, potassium, and the sodium ion channel. So when you're feeling the sensation of itchiness in your fingers, think of a straw with a bunch of holes in it. So that nerve's leaky, so it's depolarizing. So when we actually get the laser on it, it hits the calcium ion channel on the nerve. So it's basically going to plug up the holes in the straw so you don't have a leaky nerve, so you feel the normal sensation and a better signal from your brain, so it's not just constantly depolarizing. And that's how the laser works in a nutshell. And the only byproduct from the laser is heat emission. Warm, but not too hot, correct? Okay. Yeah, but I'm happy that we went from the neuropathy symptom almost being non-existent, and now we just have a little bit of residual itching. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Grip strength's improving. We'll actually check it before you leave too today. And I think we are almost there. We are so close now. And so what we'll do is we'll get the laser therapy on just to kind of for the anti-inflammatory and to work on the nerve. And then actually after when we're done with this, we'll do a little bit of trigger point release with this patient in her forearm muscles, just in case she has like a peripheral nerve entrapment, to kind of turn off that tight muscle so that nerve can breathe running on its way down here. Is it just me or did it get hotter in here, or is it just the camera that's making me hotter? I get, that's what it is. I get so nervous when the camera comes on. Phil can tell you, right, Phil?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, perfect. When we talk about laser therapy for nerves, roughly the resting membrane potential of every cell in the body, let's just use negative 70 millivolts. It varies throughout different tissues, but that's a pretty normal one. So negative 70 millivolts, when people say that they have low back pain and they feel it running down their leg, what happens is your ion channel actually gets a little bit more positive. So actually go to like negative 20, and that's usually when it at the threshold when it synapses and you feel the action potential release. So what we do is when we actually laser the nerve, we try and basically take that negative millivolt a little bit further. So if you have a low back pain, or if you had a low back injury and your nerves are depolarizing, so you're feeling it run down your leg, basically those cells at that tissue level are a little bit closer to zero. So what we were talking about, negative 25, negative 20, when we actually get the laser over that nerve, it's going to just basically negatively charge it a little bit more efficiently. So we could actually take it back to its baseline of negative 70. But if we actually take our time and laser the tissue for anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes, you could actually get that tissue level and that depolarization to around like negative 85 or negative 90. So the chances of that nerve depolarizing and firing down your leg diminishes. Alrighty. So, and then the next things we're gonna do is, Sharon, I'll take your glasses here for you. All right, thank you. And then what we're gonna do next is, just what we were talking about, we're gonna do a little bit of soft tissue work here. So, what we will do is, you can rest your arm up here and just go real loose here. I got you. Alexa, volume down. That was loud. So this is the trigger point release technique. So what we're doing is we're shortening the flexor tendons of her forearm, pinning them and stretching them back out to make the flexion tendons a little bit longer here. Good. And just real loose here, I got you. You like going to Eaton Park for a brunch, or you like going for dinner?
We hit between.
They're not bad, yeah. Do you ever get the breakfast buffet?
No.
Me neither.
Never been there.
No. I've only done that one time. I wasn't that big of a fan. I'll tell you what, my favorite thing from Eaton Park is their potato pancakes. I don't know if they're hash browns or potato cakes, whatever they are. Those are real. I'm a huge hash brown fan.
He's gonna knock your sound down for this.
I'm keeping that in.
Oh, shoot. I hope that's what they're called now. I'm going to take this arm here, just real loose. I got you. Easy here. Good. Good. Okay, we'll strip this out, and then I'm really curious. Did you do the okay, yeah. I'm curious to see. So, I'm curious to see what you're eliciting here when we.
Are we doing it today?
Yeah, we'll do it today. Yeah, just curious to see what the numbers are. We've been keeping track every time. Yeah.
Okay. I made sure I did it last night.
you don't ever feel like you're like dropping anything or anything like that right now? No. It's just the itchiness sensation in the fingers.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this patient basically said that she felt like there was like a very light, I guess, sheet of cloth over your finger. So you feel everything, but it's not 100%.
Yeah, it's like, almost like you have thin plastic clothes on.
Gotcha.
So I'm just down to the fingertips.
Okay, just down to the fingertips here. Yeah, we made a ton of progress here. Okay, so let me grab this Jamo here. All right, so we'll start with the left here. So you could squeeze it like you are, hold on one second here. Okay, squeeze it like you're mad at it. Strong, 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 strong. That's the best it's been. Whoo, that's good. Okay, you can relax here. So you capped out at 53. You never hit 53 yet.
Okay.
Okay, so 53 on the left. Like you're mad at it, like you're mad at it, like you're mad at it. Almost. Okay, you can relax. So 49 and 53. Hey, that's good stuff right there. That is really, really good stuff. You've hit 49 on this before, but you never went over 51 yet. So that's 2 pounds of pressure added on that left. So, hey, that's good. That's very, very good. All righty. So I got to jot those numbers down. And, what we'll do is we'll try and fit you on for next week, and we'll kind of just keep following suit because that was really good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, thank you for letting Phil sitting in here. I appreciate that. Yeah. That was awesome. All righty. So, Dwayne, I'm just going to kind of reiterate everything we've been talking about, what the laser does. So, what we have here is a class 4 therapeutic laser. So, long story short, this is it's a hot laser. So, it does a lot for the body. So, the best metaphor that we can start with is what the laser does is just how the sunlight hits a plant for the plant to kind of grow and repair itself. We're donating photon energy from the laser to the cells in his body just so he could heal like 100 times quicker than what he normally could. So a couple specs of the laser, what it does is it allows for an increase of nitric oxide and O2 perfusion across the cell membrane. And so that basically enables you to heal like 100 times quicker than what you normally would. Also what it does on the channels on a nerve. So for example, patient here, he's been having some kind of neuropathy symptoms down his right leg. So what we do is we actually get on the laser on that corresponding nerve that's running down his leg. So your resting membrane potential roughly for every single cell is around negative 70 millivolts. When it depolarizes, it gets to around negative 20 millivolts. So when people say, Doc, I got like low back pain and it's running down my leg, it's because that nerve's leaking and it keeps depolarizing. So what this laser does is it actually gets on the calcium ion channel on that nerve and basically makes it a lot more negatively charged so it doesn't, run down his leg. So think of a straw with a bunch of holes in it. When we get the laser over the straw, it's going to kind of patch the holes up so you don't have a leaky nerve so it doesn't continuously fire down his leg. Not too warm here, sir? Okay. And also what it does is it decreases inflammation, and what it actually does for when we're talking about pain fibers. So a pain fiber is called nociception, and it's a unmyelinated C fiber. So what this does is this actually kind of helps to like trick the brain to turn off the C fiber so you don't actually experience the pain. And the cool part about us having the hot laser is, the only byproduct from the laser is heat. So when we heat collagen, so all this skeletal muscle here is like collagen based. Once we heat it up to around 100 degrees, it becomes a little bit more pliable, more mendable. So then when we start to do the soft tissue on this patient's back, it's just going to allow everything to organize more linear, so it will take out his trigger points once we get a different tool on here. Still doing good? Okay. Any headaches since last visit? No? And so the main reason why we were getting the laser over this patient's low back, and specifically that L4, L5 nerve root, is because, Dwayne, you said when you were cutting the grass earlier this week, you kind of feel like your legs kind of dragging and weak on you, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why like when we kind of stimulate this nerve, we're trying to patch the holes up in the straw, if you will, just so it's not continuously firing and he's not having any sensations running down his leg here. When we get the laser on certain tissues, what it's going to do is it's going to decrease local inflammation. It opens up the calcium ion channel on the nerve, and it will also stimulate RNA and DNA production. So what it does is it allows for an increase of nitric oxide and O2 perfusion across the cell membrane. So you literally are going to take your healing capacity and increase it by like 50-fold. A great metaphor, a great analogy is just how sunlight hits plants for the plant to grow and repair itself. Basically what we're doing is we're trying to donate photon energy to your cells so your cells can kind of replicate and heal themselves as quick as possible. So I'll take your glasses here for you. And then, so just what we were talking about, how this is like a hot therapeutic laser. Now when we get this Grasson tool over, think of if you have trigger points, your myofibrils and your fascia are kind of organized a little bit more diagonal. So once we get the Grasson tool on and kind of do the muscle scraping, we're just gonna allow everything to go like a little bit more linear and take out the trigger points in his back. So, all right, sir, just might be a little bit cold here. You going to dinner this weekend with your buddy and his wife?
Tonight.
Where you guys going?
I don't know. The women always make the reservations.
You're just along for the ride, huh?
Along for the ride and my credit card.
Yeah, it's gonna be a low-key night for me. I think I'm gonna wash my truck after this, and then we first day of the sale tomorrow, Dwayne. So it's gonna be a zoo in here tomorrow. So
Yeah, I'll be here. I need some more multivitamins
okay.
and some probiotics.
What else are you gonna pick up? Anything else?
Pretty much set with everything else.
Okay. Are you still you told me you didn't try the celery juice yet, but you're doing the what'd you say you're doing in the morning with a little bit of ginger and
Drinking that. What else did I try? Well, I got some garlic soaked in honey.
that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
You still been doing that every day?
I'm still letting it soak a little more
Okay.
because I think I started eating it too fast.
Okay.
Because when I did eat it, the garlic was really strong.
Okay.
So let it soak a couple more days and then start eating that.
And so what we're doing here is this is like a percussion gun. So it's just called a hypervolt. And a lot of people just like this because it makes their muscles relax and it's all neurological. So when you rapidly tap a muscle, you have what's called a GTO, a Golgi tendon organ in the muscle belly. So when we rapidly tap it, it sends an afferent stimulus to the brain, efferent back down the muscle, and forces the muscle to elongate and relax. So that's why this hypervolt just kind of helps just to relax the muscle before we get the patient adjusted here. And then what we have been doing with this patient is then we do a little bit of, it's called ART, like an active release. So we actually work on the glutes and the hamstrings and the calf on them too. Are you still taking the greens every day?
Yeah, with the
Power cleanse?
yes.
Good. Is that for breakfast?
Yes.
Okay.
Along with my vitamins.
That's a staple. I do that every single morning for breakfast too because that covers all your macro and micronutrients for the day, man. Your neck been feeling alright?
Looks good.
Okay.
Ever since that girl ran in the back of me, you know. It's like no matter what I do, I'm in pain. But I gotta keep at it.
Well, the good news is too, so like when we first started working on this patient, you had a stroke. It was a year and 5 months ago now? Somewhere around there? A year and 4 months ago?
4 months.
4 months. And when I first started working on him, you really couldn't do like anything strength-wise in your right leg, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's getting a lot better. Had a little bit of the symptoms return when you were cutting the grass earlier this week, but all in all, you got back in the gym there for a couple months in a row. You were getting a lot stronger. Coordination was getting better. Do you feel weak in your right arm at all?
Just a little.
Easy here, sir.
I'm gonna start swimming next week.
Nice, very, very nice. So this is that active release we were talking about. So what we basically do is shorten the muscle, pin it, and stretch it back out. So we just put more length in the muscle here, just because he has some tight posterior muscles in his right leg here. Good there. Down to the calf here. So just real loose here, sir. I'm gonna move this ankle here for you. Instrument-assisted soft tissue mobilization. Some people coin it as Graston. So what does that do? So when people come to me and they're like, Doc, it's weird. I just, for the past couple years, past couple months, I just feel like I have this tight knot in my trap. Anytime I move my head, I feel it. Sometimes I wake up from sleeping and I just feel like that knot is just a little bit more tight than usual. What we do is we'll first heat it up with a laser, because once collagen gets heated up to a certain degree, it becomes a little bit more pliable. So this muscle's all collagen here. So usually I'll heat it up with the laser, and it's the same principle as if you're gonna try and bend cold rubber as opposed to hot rubber. It's just easier tissue to deal with. So when we get that Graston tool or that instrument over the tight trigger point or that knot in your trap, what happens is when you feel that trigger point in that knot, think of your myofibrils and your collagen, and the myofascia is basically all kind of knotted up, so it's organized a little bit more diagonal. When we go over it with that Graston tool, what we're trying to do is allow that myofascia and the myofibrils of the muscle to organize in a more linear fashion, so the muscle just responds a lot better, and you just don't have that trigger point anymore. So in a nutshell, that's basically what the instrument does, is to try and get the trigger point out, so to speak, by taking your collagen fibers from here to here, just so it's a lot looser and you don't have that tight knot and trigger point. Let's go deep breath in for me, sir, and all the way out. A little push here, Dwayne, easy. Good. And deep breath for me here. And all the way out, easy here. And last one up top for me, sir. Deep breath, and all the way out, easy here. Good. Okay, let's turn your head to the left here for me. All right. Just very easy here, sir. Just quick. Last one. Good. Let's go other side here for me. When you get a chiropractic adjustment, it instills the parasympathetic nervous system response. So sympathetic is you see a bear in the woods. So eyes dilate, everything vasoconstricts, blood pressure goes up. When you actually get like a chiropractic adjustment, it allows for the parasympathetic, so the rest and digest, so everybody just feels a lot more calm and cool, collected, just more comfortable in their skin. So easy here, easy. Good. Face down for me here, sir. I'm trying to think, when was the last time you were in? Last Thursday, right?
Thursday, yeah.
Okay. Oh, and the table was broke last Thursday. Yep. Yeah, they just got fixed there.
Camera on. No rocks there.
Good thing you got that fresh fade yesterday. And we're gonna bend this knee here. So everything we're gonna do right now with him face up is all called fascial stretch therapy. So every single muscle it's called your fascia system. So it's basically connective tissue, wraps around the muscle kind of like a pantyhose. So what we're kind of doing is just stretching the fascia and just opening it up so everything can breathe underneath. And since we started with you, this got like a ton better. Because I think when we first started, I was kind of stretching you like this. And yeah, you're a ton better now. You got any plans the rest of the day?
I need to go and cut some more grass, but I'm not going to.
Did you get all your weed whacking done? What hurts worse? Like, when do you feel like more of the symptoms in your leg, cutting or weed whacking?
I guess weed whacking.
Weed whacking?
Yeah, because when I'm weed whacking, I'm on the hillside, so.
Does it hurt your back at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I come here twice a week. Well, ever since that girl hit me, it's like, kind of got worse.
Yeah. That was when, last August, somewhere around there? Yeah, last August. Yeah, still kind of recovering. So a lot of times when a patient's in a motor vehicle accident, sometimes like the first week or two, they don't even really feel anything because your body's still in like sympathetic overdrive. And then once everything kind of start to relax, that's when people really experience the pain. So very common for someone to get in a motor vehicle accident, not experience anything for a couple weeks, and then everything starts to kind of fall apart.
Yeah, I'm sick of you getting older.
You ain't getting old, man. Old's like 85.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
that ain't old.
I mean,
Stretch here.
hit somebody from the back at a standstill.
And then so everything we're doing on his leg is all called that fascial stretch therapy. And then when we attack his right shoulder here, we're gonna do more of that active release. So I'm gonna grab this arm here for you, sir, and just real loose. And we basically, when we strip Dwayne's shoulder out, we strip pec minor out, and then he has a nasty trigger point. It's called your subscapularis, one of your 4 rotator cuff muscles, and that's always a little bit sensitive on you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good there. No, but you're a tough cookie. There's a lot of people coming here, and yeah, this is the most pleasant getting done, but basically what we're trying to do is just to help with his posture. So your pec minor, when it gets really, really tight, it attaches on your shoulder, so your shoulder actually kind of naturally roll forward, and then you dump a lot of tension on the backside of your shoulder. So when we loosen the pec minor up, your shoulder naturally wants to fall back, and you just hold better posture. So just real loose here, sir, I got you. And then, yeah, this is the one that's a little sensitive on you here. Are you having any numbness and tingling down in this hand, or it's just all weakness and pain?
Well, you know what? The other day I did have some tingling
Okay, real loose here.
in my fingertips, but I stretched it out and went away.
Okay. So that's also why we're working on like every muscle where a couple of his nerves could be getting hung up. So he's experiencing the numbness, tingling in his fingers. So this one is called your extensor carpi ulnaris brevis here, and your median nerve, so like the nerve that innervates a couple of the fingers in your hand, actually passes through this muscle. So a lot of the times when people are having like numbness and tingling in their hand, they'll think, doc, it's carpal tunnel. You send them for a nerve conduction study and it comes back mild carpal tunnel. It's not really coming from the carpal tunnel, it's actually coming from this muscle, so kind of like a peripheral nerve entrapment.
Actually, I was diagnosed with carpal tunnel.
Were you?
And the doctor, he wanted to operate. Instead of him telling me to stretch it out and take B12,
Yep.
and that's what I did. And it went away.
That's big. That's why our neuropathy is massive for B12. Yeah, it just helps for like healthy nerve cell transmission. Good there, sir. All right, and what we're gonna have you do is let's face this wall over here. We're gonna get your low back adjusted, man. Yeah, so you can face over here. It's hard to kind of stay up with like all the playoffs right now, just because I mean that's your whole night then, you know? Because those games are like 3 hours. All right, so just quick here, quick. Last one. Good. On your back here for me, and a little pull down on your feet here. So come in here, easy here. Good. Little pull over here. Good. All right, my man, let's get you up, see how that's feeling. You only experience this once in a blue moon, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that could be like a central, it's called like a cervical radiculopathy kind of coming from your neck, but your muscles are so dang tight, I feel like you got like a twofer. I think you have like a little peripheral nerve entrapment in that forearm, just because you feel how tight that is.
Yeah, it is tight. But when I was weed whacking the other day, I was like, wow. The next day my arms was really sore.
Yeah.
So,
I think, it's just a little bit yin with the yang, man. So since you beat yourself up outside of here, we got to kind of reverse everything in here. Feeling all right?
oh yeah.
All right, my man.